Hey everyone, Terry Hansen again with Good Dog Coaching and Pet Care for another episode of Training Tip Tuesday, where we share information with you about dog training and answer your questions and just help you to gain some knowledge so that you can train your dog. Good Dog Coaching and Pet Care is based out of Gwinnett County, Georgia. We've been in business going on 10 years actually, and we offer dog training from basic obedience, puppies, grown dogs, to behavioral issues of any kind. So we love helping people, we love changing lives and changing the lives of the dogs most importantly. And we also provide pet sitting services, from in-home pet visits, where our team of pet sitters make visits to the client's home to care for their pets when they're out of town. We also do overnight care, we do live-in care, we do private boarding for dogs. And we also do dog walking services for our clients that maybe work long hours or they work from home and their dogs need a break during the day to stretch their legs, go potty, burn off some excess energy. We do all of that. And so it's not just me. There's a team of us that we all work together to bring these services to our clients. So we've been Best of Gwinnett since 2011. We're really proud of that. And voting is open at this point, so you can visit us. You can go to our Facebook page and you can vote for us there, on our website also. And by the way, if you want more information about the services that we offer, you can visit our website at gooddogcoaching.com. Gooddogcoaching.com. www, of course, gooddogcoaching.com. So anyway, today we're going to talk about motivating your dog. There's lots of ways to motivate your dog, and depending on the dog, and specifically today I'm going to talk about using food to motivate your dog when training. So, and when I say food, there's an important distinction. I don't mean treats. I mean their food, actually. Their breakfast, their dinner. If most people these days feed dry kibble, so you can use that, actually, their breakfast or dinner. Don't put their food in the bowl. Put it in a pouch and use it to train your dog, whether you're teaching them things simple as, basic commands like sit and down, or even the place command, recall. Those are all, you can use food for all of those. So we use food for training dogs, and it depends on the dog. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes food gets a dog too hyped up, and in that case, you don't use food. You'll use more of the mechanics of using a leash and collar. But that being said, even when I'm using food, I still have a leash and collar on the dog so they can't get distracted or walk off or whatever. It gives me control, helps you to maintain control of the dog. But so, if you're working with your average dog, they don't, not nervous or fearful, that type of thing. Again, food can be a great motivator. You can get them to do the things that you want them to do. And by the way, if that's the only way they get their food, that's what's really important here, is that is the only way that they get their food. In other words, if I'm working with a dog and I'm using food, let's say I'm using their breakfast, that's how they get it, by performing these commands, these tasks, and earning, maybe a few kibble or a handful of kibble at a time. If there's food left over, let's say they decide they don't want to continue. They don't want to, they kind of like poop out or don't want to do it. Then whatever food is left over is lost. So, and this is really important in the beginning when you're teaching them to be motivated by food. Actually, today I was working with a client whose dog is a little overweight and kind of, for lack of a better word, quiet, lethargic a little bit, not real motivated. So, when we're working to create commands, I also want a certain amount of speed in the level of, them performing the command. So, the suggestion is to not feed their dinner that evening, and then see how the dog responds when you use their food the next morning, to see if the dog's more motivated to get that food. If they're not, you always offer the food. Here's the food, let's do some things. If they kind of just like, throw their nose up at it, then you wait until the next meal. Try it again. what happens is, obviously, the dog starts to get hungry and more motivated. So they begin to realize that the only way they're going to get the food is by working for it, by, doing the things that you're asking of them. And, for some people, that's going to, I say some people, some owners, that might hurt their heart or break their heart. But listen, no dog that I have ever met in all the years that I've been doing this has ever starved itself, ever. They get with the program and realize, oh, hey, if I want to eat, I need to, you're the person that's giving me the food. These are the things I've got to do. Okay, I'm on board with that. So, and once they get rolling, really, they get engaged and they like it. And when done in the right way, it becomes fun for the dog. And, it's like playing. And plus, they have your undivided attention while you're working with them. So it's a great tool, actually, to use. So the other thing is, if you have a dog that's nervous or fearful, it can be a bridge. Again, if that is the only way that they are going to get their food, in other words, if you can't get them to do the things that you want to do and they're kind of sticking their nose up at the food, but then at the end of the day, you're going to, put that food in a bowl and they can get it that way, what's their motivation? So if you're just consistent and you stick with it, they might skip a few meals, but in the long run, pretty soon, their hunger is going to override their fear. And at that moment, you really have a breakthrough where the dog will take the food and begin, realizing that the food is more important than the fear. So they begin to listen to the food and the training more so than the fear. And again, that's a great way to bridge that gap with that dog and help them to move forward instead of being stuck in a place where they're nervous or anxious or fearful. Which, they're not happy being that way, and they don't know how to get out of it. They need our help to do that. So, for those of you that, again, in the beginning, that would, break your heart to go, oh, but I don't want my dog to starve. Your dog will not starve. The dog will never starve. They will get hungry enough and motivated enough to take that food and do those things. And once you get that ball rolling, it really is a lot of fun. In terms of training your dog to do simple tasks like sits and downs and, place, coming when called, all of those kinds of things. Again, when done right, it becomes a game. In the beginning, when your dog is used to kind of just doing whatever it wants and it doesn't really want to listen to you because it for whatever reason, it's just happy doing its own thing, but its own thing might not be the right thing or might not be the choice that you want them to make. So, getting them on board with what you want them to do, and food is one of those ways to do that. Again, is it's powerful. It's a very powerful motivator. So I encourage you to use food. And let me back up and say this: some people would say, "Well, I don't want to have to always have food on me." Here's the key: is you use food long enough and with enough repetition that you create a conditioned response. That's the key. If you wean off the food too quickly, then yes, or you're not consistent, like sometimes you give them the food and sometimes you don't, or more importantly, sometimes you follow through and have them do that behavior and sometimes you don't, then you get an inconsistent dog. Then you get the dog that's like, hey, well, if you have a treat, I'll do it, but if not, I won't. The key is to do it long enough until you have created this conditioned response. The dog hears that word, whatever that word might be, sit down, place, come when called, and the body just responds. That takes an awful lot of repetitions, over a period of time. And for most owners, that might be weeks or months, sometimes years. It just depends on the dog, right? And the consistency also. So it's perfectly okay. Even to this day, my dog's 10 years old, when I'm teaching her something new, I use food. And hey, I use her food every day to have her perform certain tasks, and why not? It's a great way for her to earn her food. It's much better that way than for me to just, let's say, throw the food in a bowl. No issue. But if I ask her to do perform a command any other time, she's going to do it because she's conditioned to do it. Whether there's food or not, she's going to do it. But if I have the opportunity to offer her food, when I'm at home and whatever, I will. And then that way also in the back of her mind, there's always a chance that she might get some kind of food. And, you know, she's very food motivated because she's used to working for her food and loves doing it. So anyway, if you guys have any questions about that, you can hit me up in the comment section, or you can email me at info@gooddogcoaching.com, info@gooddogcoaching.com. You can check us out on Facebook. We're on Instagram. You know, our website, www.gooddogcoaching.com. And we'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you've got any questions, comments, whatever. We're here for you. All right, until next time, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.